Alright guys, more TCG for you. This one's only like 20 minutes long, so that's cool. And I'm playing the Lugia Legend deck. And yeah, it's actually a really good game, although I will point out, there is a point, I'm going to say this right now, there's a possibility, okay, I make two mistakes. It's actually the same mistake twice. But if I had not made this mistake, there's the possibility that I could have lost this game. And there's also the possibility that I could have won this game like twice as fast. Well, not twice as fast, but there's a possibility I could have won the game even quicker. But technically, I probably shouldn't even be posting this, because if you were playing this at a tournament and I had made that mistake, it would have been a game loss. So, you know, take it as you will. It was a really good game, even with the mistakes. So, you know, take it as you will. Just take it as entertainment. And hopefully you'll enjoy this. But anyway, basically, I'll tell you what while he's doing all his shenanigans over there, I'll tell you what the mistakes were. Essentially, since you're playing Lugia Legend, you have the ability Ocean Grow. Well, I'll get to it when that happens. How about that? I have a horrible starting hand here. Well, not horrible, actually. I'm going to use Legend Box, but I think I whiff on this first Legend Box, which kind of sucks. But, you know, that's the risk you run with running Legend Box. So, yeah, I whiff on the first one. Go ahead and stick everything back in. Basically, Lugia Legend has the ability Ocean Grow, which means when you play it, you can use Ocean Grow to turn over the top 5 cards of your deck and place every energy from that on your Lugia. And I just go ahead... I'm going to go ahead and catcher out this Oddish real quick. I'll get back to the other thing. But I'm going to catcher the Oddish just in case... Well, just because I want to be able to knock it out when I can. Draw 7 cards, and I'm going to go ahead and Legend Box again, just see if I can get another one. I can't remember if this is the one where I make it or not. There's the bottom half. Does he make it? Does he make it? Actually, I know for a fact that I don't make it this time, so yeah. But basically, the other cards that are not energy, that are not put on your Lugia, are supposed to be discarded. But I think both times I accidentally returned them to my deck. I forgot that they weren't returned. They were discarded. So that was totally my bad. And some of them, I think at least once, one of them was like a Pokemon, which means, and I had a Super Rod in my hand, and I needed that Pokemon, so I would have Super Rodded for it, brought it back up to my deck. But the reason I'm saying that it could have lost me the game is because I get very close to decking out, and that would have made a big difference. But it also would have thinned my deck, and I may have been able to pull better on some Ponts and stuff like that. But I junk armed for this Legend Box, and I do hit the Lugia this time. And I'm able to get a Rainbow, a Fighting, and a Water. And what that means is I can't attack with it this turn, basically. Which really sucks. Excuse me, sorry. Alright, well, actually, I can attack with it. I can attack, assuming this Ocean Grow works. I'm actually going to Portrait just to see if he has any good stuff in his hand. He has the Pont, so I'm going to go ahead and draw 6. This is before I Ocean Grow. I'm not really sure why I did that. But I'm going to go ahead and Ocean Grow because my plan is if I hit a Rainbow or a Fire or an Electric, or if I hit those, then I can do a regular attach to Smeargle, switch out, then I'm going to Junk Arm for a catcher, and catcher out his Darkrai and kill his Darkrai. Now, was this a good, I mean, I think early on to take 2 quick prizes, it was a good decision. However, it's always a good idea to kill an Oddish in a deck like this that's really reliant on your items and stuff. So I am just gonna catch her out the Darkrai though. Take the 2 prizes. I don't know how long it would have taken him to get a Vileplume in play, and also I would have wasted a lot of energy that's going to take me a long time to get back for only one prize. So it was a really hard decision on what I was supposed to do there, but I did just decide to go with the Darkrai because I felt like it was a good idea to take the prizes early on. So I do take 2 prizes. I have to discard all my energy after using that Elemental Blast. I think that's what it's called. My dog is walking all over my beanbag chair. He uses Sage's Training to try and get a couple good things into his hand. He's going to discard a couple things. At one point, he discards a Seeker, which could have been very useful to him, I think. But he is able to get out of Zekrom. He's going to put a Rainbow on it. Those Rainbows are obviously good on Zekroms for Outrage damage. But I don't think he's ever actually going to use Outrage. He goes ahead and Portraits just to see if I have anything, but I don't really have anything in there that he can use. And he's going to pass. So I'm going to draw. I do get the Tynamo, and I have the Eel. But at this point, I just decide not to use the Eel. Or no, I can't use the Eel, obviously, because I just placed out my Tynamo this turn. I almost grabbed that Electric, but then I realized I'm going to try and Dynamotor for that. So I'm just going to grab the other Lugia piece, because I know Legend Box is the best way for me to get those Lugias out. Go ahead and shuffle all that stuff back in my deck. That was a Super Rod that got me that stuff, BT dubs. I'm going to go ahead and stick that in there, and I am going to retreat by discarding one of my fightings, and I almost attach a fire and just stay in there, but I decided that's not a good idea, because I just need to Portrait and see if he has like a Pawnt or something like that. I think I get unlucky and he has a Juniper, though, which is not what you want to see when you have something as vital as an Eel in your hand. I mean, I really felt like it was I don't know. I probably should have just hard attached the fire. Well, no, because then I couldn't have Dynamotored on the Electric because my Lugia would have been in the active slot. So, I don't know. It was a hard decision. But I did end up just go ahead and Portraiting, and I get a Pawnt. I don't really like my hand, so I just go ahead and use my own Pawnt, see if I can get something better. And I grab 2 Dual Balls, which is great. Why is that great? Because I can hopefully hit 2 heads off of the 4 flips and get my other Lugia in play. And I hit a heads and a tails, so I'm going to grab 1 piece of Lugia. And I also attached that experience share, just because that other Lugia has that fighting on it, and I only run 3 fightings in the deck, so I thought it would be important to hopefully get that fighting off if that Lugia gets knocked out. I do hit 1 more heads, and I'm able to get out my other Lugia piece, which is great. So I'm going to put them both on the bench and go ahead and Ocean Grow. And yeah, so it's looking pretty good that I've got 2 Lugias out. I've already retreated this turn and such, so there's no way that I'll be able to attack this turn unless I have a switch, which I don't. So yeah, see, at this point, like if I would have not put that stuff back in my deck, I would have Super Rodded for that probably the Electric Energy and my Eel, and that's him telling me just heads up for next time you have to discard those cards. I was like, dude, that's totally my bad. I forgot all about that. I just always, and there's me checking to make sure he's right. But I feel like I've made that mistake before. So it is his turn. He's going to Twins and get some vital cards. And I think he puts another Rainbow and on his Zekrom, which is his hard attach for the turn. And I think he rare candied into that Vileplume. And then he Portraits and plays the end that was in my hand. Now, I didn't notice that he had played that Vileplume there, which was not so hot for me. I didn't realize that he had played it, and I'm sitting here like, alright, I'm going to catch this dude out. Actually, draw into my Eel this turn. Let's see. I draw into the Eel. I'm going to play... I think I'm deciding what I want to do. I go ahead and play a Rainbow on that other, on my other Lugia, because I can Dynamotor that other Electric onto it. and hopefully, well, the plan was to catcher out his Darkrai, and then in and hopefully get a switch. But then he tells me I can't play the catcher because of Vileplume, which I was like, crap, I didn't even realize he played it. So now I'm in a bit of a pickle. I'm going to go ahead and in, just because I've only got, 3 cards. I can go ahead and get 4. See if I can get anything good. I do grab another in. I think I'm just going to go ahead and portrait. Hopefully he's got a Pawnt. And I do believe he does have a Pawnt, if I'm not mistaken. No, he has a Sage's Training, so I'm going to go ahead and get the Sage's Training. And I think I just keep both the energies because the other 3 things are items. I don't need those, obviously, since I'm trainer locked. So just need to get those dead cards out of my deck so that I don't draw into them with any more Pawnts or anything like that. Try and keep my deck a little bit thin, and hopefully get what I can off my supporters. So yeah, I think I just go ahead and pass that turn away. He's asking why I just discarded all those trainers, and I'm like, because I used your Sage's Training, dude. But I mean, man, it's just so hard to figure out how this game would have turned out if I had played Lugia's ability correctly. But oh well, it happens. It's honestly a really easy mistake to make. So he's going to use his Sage's Training, and yeah, the good thing is now he's locked out of trainers too, and I know that he runs a lot because you can see, I mean, he just discarded a Pecom and a Rare Candy. I mean, it's kind of like I consider it kind of like the Vanillix deck, you know. I think I've got at least 1 or 2 games to put up with that also. But I think he's going to go ahead and, what's he doing, portraiting probably. So I'm going to go ahead and show my hand. I think I have an in my hand, and that's what we're going to end up playing. And I wait for him to say that, but he never says in, so I'm like, what does he think he's going to do? And then he says it, so yeah. Go ahead and in. I can only get 4 cards, obviously, because I've only got 4 prizes, which kind of sucks because he's getting bigger hands than me. He's going to go ahead and play another rainbow down, and then I think he's going to pass right after that. So I see a Terrakion in my hand, and I've got another fire. Basically, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hard attach to the Smeargle so that I can retreat out to the Lugia, but before I retreat, I'm going to Dynamotor my electric on. Yeah, get the electric onto that other Lugia so I can go ahead and attack. I think I'm just going to go ahead and knock out the Smeargle because I don't want him portraiting any more ends out. Especially after I, well, actually, this is my last in this deck. But I don't want him using all my supporters, you know. And plus, I need to go ahead and take the prize. I'm going to go ahead and in. I need to end before I take a prize, just because I want to get 4 cards instead of 3, obviously. But unfortunately, the only usable card I get is Juniper. So I'm going to go ahead and KO, take 1 prize off the Smeargle. It's always good to get a Smeargle off the field, especially when you're trainer locked, just because, you know, all they can play is supporters, so his best bet is to kind of portrait into something. But he's not going to be able to do that. So, he puts out the Zekrom. It can obviously Fusion Bolt and kill, but that was part of the plan. Because of what I'm hoping is to promote my Smeargle, Juniper, so I can Dynamotor on that electric, and hopefully with the Juniper draw into a fighting. So that's kind of the idea. And we're going to see how well all this works out. I also kind of need my Sky Aura Bridge. I don't know if I draw it. I draw a Legend Box. So we're going to go ahead and Juniper, get all that stuff in my discard. I've got a couple electrics in the discard now that I can Dynamotor for. We're going to draw 7. So we need Sky Aura Bridge and a fighting. And I don't think I see any of that, honestly. I think I just go ahead and pawn. No, I can't pawn. I'm going to port. I can't remember what I do. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I'm not going to attach. I'm going to portrait first just to see if he has a pawn. That's right. Portrait, see if he has a pawn or an in or something. Because I really need something. He has 2 pawns, which is great for me. So I'm going to go ahead and pawn. And like I said, I need that Sky Over Bridge and that fighting. Or maybe... oh, this is... Okay, now I remember what happens. Right. So I draw into my Shaman. And I totally forgot about Shaman at this point. So I'm like, alright. I'm going to play out Shaman, which will allow me to put the fighting on Terrakion. And then I can Dynamotor for my electric to put on Terrakion. And then I can hard attach a water and retreat my Smeargle out to Terrakion and then KO this Zekrom, which is great because right now it's his only setup. It's his only setup attacker, and he can't really get another attacker out because he can't like Dark Patch or anything to his Darkrai. So I'm looking pretty good at this point. I'm pretty satisfied with what's going on. And I go ahead and place out the other Smeargle just because I don't want him to end or anything. And luckily, I draw into my Sky Arrow Bridge. Unfortunately, it's a little bit late. I could have used it earlier, but we'll see what happens. I think he evolves 2 Mismagiuses now. And I think he's going to Paunt. And this is where he starts making some really good plays here at the end of the game. Which are really going to make this game pretty close. So what we're going to see here is... I think he's going to go ahead and Paunt. This is a really laggy game, so some of the stuff is just a little bit behind. Hopefully, it won't get too far behind. But I think this is what... Oh, no, he's going to Sage his Training this turn. And I think... Let's see. I think he Sage's Training, and he's going to grab... he actually puts down a Seeker there, which I was a little bit surprised that he put a Seeker out, because I would have thought... I mean, I like the idea of being able to Seeker up your Vileplume and play a bunch of trainers in one turn and maybe get some knockouts, some key knockouts, catchers, that kind of thing. But he doesn't do that. He's going to retreat out to a Mewtwo that he's got a Prism Energy on now. And now I'm a little bit worried because, yeah, it's a little bit scary. But I'm going to Dynamotor on and Electric onto my Lugia. I also hard attach to Water, which is great. I play out my Sky Arrow Bridge and then I Paunt. So what this means is with a Fire, you know, I can attach to my Lugia next turn, and I have the possibility of being able to retreat with Sky Arrow Bridge because I can just... Oh, no, I can't because I can only attach in one turn. Whew, that sucks. I'm just going to go ahead and do 30 to his Mewtwo, and then I think this turn he makes a really good play. Let's see what he does. I think I remember this being the turn where he... I don't want to spoil it quite yet. Let's see what happens. Let us see. He's looking at all the discards, trying to figure out what's going to happen. He's probably got... I think he plays an in here, or maybe a Paunt. He's going to play out his Shaman. He can retreat because of the... he can retreat out because of Darkrai's ability, and then he's going to use the Power Transfer, or whatever it's called, Energy Transfer, or something like that, to put that that Prism Energy on his Shaman, and then he's going to hard attach a Special Dark, use in, so I only have 2 cards in my hand, and then he's going to use his attack to knock out my Terrakion, which is like, crap, that was such a good play. He made a really good play that turn, which is going to put me in a bit of a pickle, but since I have out the Sky Arrow Bridge, I'm just going to promote my Smeargle, because I have the free retreat, obviously. I'm going to Portrait, see what he's got. Hopefully he's got something like a Paunt, and luckily he does have a Paunt. I knew he still had 1 in his deck. So I'm able to draw into 6 and see where we can get from there, and luckily I get everything I could have possibly needed that turn. I draw the Terrakion, the Fighting, and the Fire. I need the Fire so that I can go ahead and knock out this EX. Oh, well, I mean, I guess I didn't need the tracking and the fighting. But yeah, so I'm able to retreat and Elemental Blast for KO, and that is the game, because that was a Shaman EX, so I draw 2 turns, and bam! I mean, 2 prizes, and yeah, that's the game. So, really close. Interesting to see how it would have turned out if things had gone a little bit differently. Granted, a lot of the things that weren't energies were trainers, which I wouldn't have been able to use anyway. I think it was like 8 cards left in my deck, something like that. And I would have obviously used Super Rod to get that eel back in my deck, so the eel would have come into play at some point. But obviously I got it right after I made that second mistake, so it's really interesting to see what would have happened. Maybe I would have drawn into it earlier after the first Ocean Grow. I had discarded and my deck was a little bit thinner and it had been shuffled differently, you know. So, I mean, there's just so many variables since that happened, and obviously it would have been a complete disqualification had it have gone on in an actual tournament. But it's interesting to think about all the different possibilities, but I did win that way, so yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Peace!